Hello everyone, it's Marnie. So today I'll be doing my wrap up for the Reading Rush readathon, which used to be known as the bookathon. So I did a previous video stating what I planned on reading. I did not get through all of what I planned on reading. I did end up just taking a couple of lazy days because I felt a bit off. But I did manage to get through a few books. So this will be my review on what I did manage to get through. So the first one is a book with a purple cover, which I chose Hollow Pike for. I was going to read this last. I have started this book. I think I started it on the last day, but I didn't get through much of it. What I have read of this book is really, really interesting and it's really captivating. But due to the fact that I haven't finished it, I can't give it a rating or anything else like that. I can tell you I do enjoy the cover, the synopsis sounds awesome. What I have read of the book so far is really, really interesting and really intriguing. But I'll have to update you on how that one goes another time. Because, like I said, I didn't finish it. I was leaving it to last because it had a really, really interesting synopsis and I wanted to end my experience with a really interesting book. But I kind of didn't finish it. So the next one is a book in the same space the entire time. So for that one, I chose 10 Possible Futures by Michael Pryor. I'm pretty sure I gave this book 3 stars or 4 stars. I know I enjoyed the book. It was really, really confusing. Like, it didn't have a nice flow to the book like I was hoping it would have. It was more just a cut and then switch over, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping to, but I did enjoy the book. It had a lot of things that were interesting in it. A lot of the characters, the way they interacted and all that were rather intriguing. But the general flow of the book probably could have been a lot better. Instead of just feeling like it cut and then skipped to something else, it left you a bit confused and a bit wondering, and like you've got a bit lost. I did end up rereading and will be rereading again to try and see if I can get more of a, more of an understanding on it. I think it might be because I tried rush reading it that I didn't understand so much because I was trying to get through so I could do a book a day. The place I read this book was in my bed because it was only a very short book. It was only 229 pages. I read it at night before going to sleep. So it didn't actually take that long. So the next one is a book you were meant to have read last year. So the book I was meant to have read last year was The Mermaid by Christina Henry. This was a 4-star book. I really enjoyed this book and how the author had written up the story of a mermaid and her interactions with other characters and how events were resolved and stuff. I enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. Like, I have been putting it off. I'm not a huge mermaid fan. I do like mermaids, and I like if they portray a siren in the correct way of something that's trying to drag a man to their death. And I do enjoy those sorts of books. But mermaids aren't my big fan thing. And like I said in my other video, this is one I got in a book box. And I strive to try and read every book I get in a book box when I have time. But this one I actually really, really enjoyed a lot more than I thought I was going to. What was it? I can't remember character names at the moment. My brain's just decided to switch off. There was a conflict between 2 characters which I really, really enjoyed, but I can't remember which 2 now. I think it was the P.T. Barnum, who's the one that's looking for a mermaid. I think it was between him and a mermaid that I enjoyed the resolution behind the incident that happened within the book. So I did really enjoy this book. Like I said, I gave it a 4 stars. There was some stuff in it that I think probably could have been thought through a little bit better, and it felt a little bit rushed. But outside of that, it was a really enjoyable read. So the next one is... Sorry, my phone's decided to go to sleep. An author's first book. So for that, I read Cinder. I am rereading this book. I am basically rereading close on every book I read because I feel like I rushed them too much because I set a time frame on when I wanted to read the books in, even though I did slack off with the last two. There is one book I will not be rereading, but I'll get into that afterwards. I enjoyed Cinder. It was another 4-star book. I enjoy the take on how they did a retelling of Cinderella with cyborgs and other characters. I do believe, like I've read a few reviews where people have said this could have been a standalone, not a retelling. I do agree with that opinion. This could have been a standalone book and still been as enjoyable. It didn't have to go in the form of a retelling. I do believe the relationship between Cinder and the prince does seem a bit rushed, but it is not as rushed as the original Cinderella story, which in itself is a plus. You actually see more of a connection and getting to know each other and a lot of other aspects behind it. There are a few things that I really enjoy between their interactions that I can't exactly say because it'll give away parts of the book. I like the twists and turns they made on it, so they made it a more, because obviously Cinderella's part cyborg and all that, they made a more futuristic thing where there's things coming down from the moon, because there's something living there. Oh, I think it's the moon. I know they're called lunars, and lunars usually a moon thing. I can't remember if they stated what planet they're from, but I did really enjoy this book. I was hoping to give it a 5 stars like everyone had basically been telling me. I even had my librarian tell me that she really enjoyed the book. I will be trying to read the rest of the Lunar Chronicle series just to see how well they go, but like I said, I'm rereading this one first just so that I don't feel like I've rushed it. So the next one is a book with a non-human character. Now, this is the book that I'm not going to reread. I never want to see it ever again. I got this book given to me by my librarian, who got it given to her by another person claiming it was a paranormal romance, which is something I usually enjoy reading. I went through and checked up all the reviews and the synopsis and all that, and everything stated it was a fairly decent book, which is Tallulah Rising by Glenn Duncan. Now, this is a first for me. I didn't like the 50 Shades of Grey, but it did have some redeeming qualities. This book, however, is one that, as much as I hate to say it, I would burn. It was a horrible... everything about it just drove me nuts. It has this main character who the synopsis states is this loving, caring woman who's out to protect her kids and all of this stuff. And the whole time reading it, she was talking about ripping her kids apart, devouring them. Mind you, being non-human, she's a werewolf. So, she's got that non-human aspect behind her. Generally, werewolves are caring, loving creatures towards their own family. They're like wolves, they're very close to their kin and all that. I do understand the part of postnatal depression where the mother can't stand the sight of her own child. But the point is, generally their mothers will either give them up or something will happen and it would end that situation. This woman went to the point of she didn't care that one of her kids got kidnapped while the other one was there with her, and all she was thinking about is how easily it would be to rip apart one of her kids while feeling guilty that she wasn't upset that the other one was kidnapped, along with sleeping with the guy who hunts her species. So it was a really, really, really bad book to read. I hated most of the aspects about it, and I don't DNF books. This one I came very close to, but I stuck through it just because I was hoping and praying there was some redeeming qualities in it, which there was none. I later found out that it is a second book to a series. There is a first book, which is understandable because the starting of the book you find out her partner's dead and she's on her own. So I take it the first book was him being killed and all that and their interaction together. But this one I read just as a standalone. Didn't seem like I was missing much in the standalone, thinking it was a standalone. But it was a really, really, really horrible book to read. I guess some people who don't have kids and don't have all of that clouding their judgment, like mine might find enjoyment in it, but I really, really, really hated this book with a passion. It was just horrible. So the next one is, I'm going to have to go back down to the list, a book that has 5 or more letters in the title. So for that, I chose How to Fall in Love by Cecilia Ahern. Surprisingly enough, this is not a book I would generally pick up and read. I did read one of her books called Thanks for the Memory, did not enjoy it at all. We did it as like a friends group book club sort of thing to read it. My friend then suggested that I should read the other ones because that wasn't one of her best books. Like even my friend didn't really enjoy that one of her books. So when we had a library book sale, there was 2 of her books there. I picked this one up and I picked up the other one to give them a try. I actually really enjoyed this one. I give this one 4 stars. It was really, really enjoyable. There was a lot of interaction. It was more, what's the word for it? It was more realistic with the reactions between everyone. Everyone had their own way of interacting with the 2 main characters. Everyone had their own personalities, their own way of dealing with something. Some people would laugh at the situation. Some people would get really upset over the situation. But the book's basically about this woman, Christine, who meets Adam Basil when he's trying to commit suicide. So he's going to jump off a cliff. Jump off of a bridge, not a cliff. He basically says, she says, don't do it, there's better things in the world. You know, the general, please don't jump. She reads a lot of how-to books, so she read How to Prevent Someone Committing Suicide. And anyway, he goes, well, I'll give you until my 35th birthday to prove that life is worth living because all this bad stuff's happened to me. And you now have to show me that it's worth me staying. So you go on a journey with both these 2 characters and they've got like, I guess some people could call it a morbid sense of humour, but it's not overly that bad. But he's got this whole, oh no, don't leave me alone. Who knows? I might slip my throat with a butter knife. Joke sense towards her. Like he's just generally, he's playing out his sadness as happiness, sort of thing. But it is like, okay, I went through a bad stage. I was suicidal at one stage. I find that sort of humour hilarious because of he's trying to help her with building himself up at the same time as going, well, you still haven't helped me at the moment. I still feel this way. The relationship between these 2, I enjoy the way how he doesn't overly analyse her, but he still makes funny jokes because she's actually a, in Australia we call them a job search network provider, so someone who's meant to help you get employment. And she reads a lot of how-to. That's her go-to thing, is how-to books and like how to improve your life, how to make your marriage work, how to fire someone without hurting their feelings. That title kind of gave me a laugh. That was one of the books she had. And even though he sat there and read them and went, wow, you got a lot of how-tos, he made a funny joke about it. She didn't take it offensively. She just shrugged it off and went, yeah, all right, whatever, let's proceed with what we need to do. But then when she interacted with, say, family members, she had the, well, at least I've got something I'm doing and I'm not just out there on the street sort of attitude towards them saying stuff. So you had a lot of interaction between the characters and they were all different and like you could see the relationships between each and like you can feel it too and the differences between what someone she knows off the street, someone she's helped job search, family, and then this person she's trying to help keep alive. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, it was a shock. It's not my usual read, and like I said, I didn't enjoy one of her first books that I did read, but I'm really happy I read this one because I did really enjoy it. So the next one is read and watch a book to movie adaptation. This is another one I didn't do. I kept looking at the book and then I skipped over and went to Hollow Peak because, like I said, I was going to put Hollow Peak as my last book. Pardon, sorry. But I didn't because I skipped over this one. So it's Memoirs of a Geisha. I didn't watch the movie, haven't read the book. I will eventually get to the book. I do need to. But I didn't this time around. So in total, I did get through 5 books. One I wish I never read, but you get that, I guess. So I do feel really satisfied with how many I got through. So I got through 5 without like 5 whole books before I kind of flaked out a bit from not feeling well. Almost 6 because I am part of the way through Hollow Peak. So I'm kind of happy with my progress through this readathon. I do plan on doing it again, and I'm really thankful to Literary Labours for having it up and like me being able to watch it and then choose to join in with this. And I was really happy to see how many people participated. Really shocked to see how many people from Australia actually participates in it, considering I'd never heard of this until I was watching Literary Labours channel. So yeah, that's my wrap up for the reading rush. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, because I'm going to have more up soon, hit the subscribe button. If you click the bell, it will give you notifications every time I post something. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.